AITA for telling my son to leave my house after he announced his engagement? My son Adam's 24 best friend Carlos, 25, passed away over 2 years ago in a car accident. This loss completely devastated Adam to the point where he lost his job. They were like brothers and our family have known his family for years. So we're also very devastated over this loss. Carlos left behind his girlfriend and their now 4-year-old son. We don't know his girlfriend too well since he didn't bring her around much. They were on and off till their son was born. Adam told me he had been seeing and taking care of Carlos's family's needs, which is great. We were glad he was stepping up to make sure that Carlos's family were getting help. Adam also got a new job and we sort of had limited contact for few months. He's started visiting us lately and looked different in general. He is now more calm and smiles more often and is even open to talk about Carlos without getting too emotional. I was relieved and happy for him, but last week, he contacted me and his dad and said he had something to tell us. He visited and brought Carlos's girlfriend and child with him. We had dinner and then all of a sudden he told us that he and Carlos's girlfriend have started dating and announced their engagement there. I was in shock. I didn't expect this at all. I didn't know what to say, but I felt upset and shocked mostly. Adam noticed my reaction and asked what's wrong. I told him I never expected him to get with his best friend's partner, of all people, and talked about how bad this would look to Carlos's family, who are close friends to ours. Carlos's girlfriend excused herself and her son to the bathroom and Adam and began arguing. He went on about how I upset his fiancée and that I should be supporting him, but I said that he should have told me, and that he shouldn't have got together with his best friend's partner and perhaps use her grief to get her to date him. He acted shocked and called me unbelievable. That's when I asked him to leave my house. He got up and left with them. My husband said I messed up by making a scene and reacting the way I did. I went upstairs and stayed alone for an hour. It's been days and Adam hasn't called and my husband keep trying to get me to speak to him, but I kept saying I needed time. YTA. Your reaction is very confusing. I could understand being concerned about them bonding over grief, but you're suggesting that your son is a manipulative creep and you're more concerned about appearances than about your son's happiness. Personally, I think it's wonderful that Carlos' son will be getting a stepdad who knew and loved his biological father and can answer the boy's questions and tell him stories about Carlos, and that the young lady won't be put through the painful experience of possibly dating people who would resent Carlos' memory instead of honoring it. 2 years is a perfectly respectable period of mourning, and the only thing that I will fault your son for is his decision to spring the engagement on you without having told you a while ago, without her present, that their relationship had become romantic. YTA. Of all people, they're young, of similar age, and they shared a highly emotional thing. Didn't you suspect that this would draw them closer? It's beautiful that they've found something positive in their lives and they'll never forget Carlos. I have friends where the exact same thing happened, and they're strong, loving couple. I think you owe them an apology. I understand it might have taken you by surprise, but to not apologize now for your behavior would make you talk. Oh no. It's so terrible that your son and this woman bonded over a mutual loss and have fallen in love, and he decided that he wanted to continue to be in her and her child's life. Woe is you. YTA. Why are you so keen to find something wrong with his choice? It's not like the GF is cheating. Carlos passed 2 years ago, not 2 days. Get over yourself and beg your son's forgiveness. This is an easy YTA. Carlos is dead. It's not like your son and the GF are cheating on him. They probably both bonded through the grief of losing him. Is she supposed to stay single forever? YTA. Carlos didn't die last month. He died 2 years ago. The people in his life are allowed to not only move on, they are allowed to move on together if that's what they want. Your reaction was not only bad, it was extreme given how much time has passed. YTA. It's been 2 years. The GF is allowed to move on and find love again. I'm sure they grew closer in supporting each other. So this is unsurprising. Intimacy is not predatory. You accused your son of being manipulative and predatory without cause. You also made it seem shameful that she's moving on and not starting permanently a grieving widow. Which I'm sure she's had to work through the emotions of already on her own. You behaved very badly to both of them. And talked about how bad this would look to Carlos's family who are close friends to ours. This is why YTA. You're more concerned about your dumb friends than you are about your son and his happiness. Do these people expect the girlfriend to remain single and in mourning for the rest of her life? She has a name, by the way. Not once do you refer to her with a name. She is always referred to as Carlos's girlfriend. She has a name and is her own person, and is not the property of Carlos. Damn lady. Get over yourself. ETA. He is right to go no contact with you. YTA. Also sounds like you haven't let go of Carlos either. YTA. I'm pretty sure Carlos would be pretty happy that his friend found happiness in his girlfriend and son have someone who loves them and takes care of them. It's not like your son killed Carlos to get with her. I don't even think the family would be upset. Sounds like you're making everything about you, which is pretty typical for a narcissist parent. YTA. Ma'am, Carlos is dead. If your son and his fiancée found comfort together after his passing, that's fine and dandy. Pretty shitty to accuse him of taking advantage of her. YTA. You should be proud you raised a son who stepped up and cared for a family in need while he too was grieving. Newsflash. People connect over shared grief and shared responsibilities. They probably took comfort in each other's presence, which eventually, over 2 YRS, blossomed into more. What a beautiful thing. That you chose to shit all over with your ridiculous outburst. Shame on you. YTA. How long are they supposed to grieve? This is actually common. They probably had a lot in common to begin with. And then their shared grief brought them closer together. YTA. The way you're talking about this makes it sound like you believe your son is betraying Carlos and your son's fiancée is a cheater. This is factually untrue and you know it. Carlos died. Your son and his fiancée struggled through the pain of that loss and found each other in it. And your reaction to them moving on with each other is to treat them as if they should be ashamed? You should be able to think this through and understand why your son is hurt. You're treating him with disgust because you haven't dealt with your own grief. Like, your behavior here is atrocious and you are wrong. But if you were as close to Carlos as your post suggests, then it sounds like you've put his memory on a pedestal and are very unfairly attacking people who you feel are threatening or disrespecting. That you fucked up. But with a sincere apology and some therapy, grief counseling, you can recover from this. You don't want to lose anyone else. And you are risking your son distancing himself forever if you can't accept his relationship. YTA. This happens a lot when two people are deeply grieving the same loss. I understand this came out of the blue for you. But you need to get over yourself and apologize. Or risk losing your son. And she's not Carlos's girlfriend. She's Adam's fiancée and your future daughter-in-law. So your son helps his best friend's wife, and after a few years they fell in love because most women are going to find a guy who steps up and helps her and her child in the hardest time. Super. Attractive because compassion is sexy. And you are mad about this? Yes, YTA. YTA, it's been over 2 years. When will she be considered as her own person again, not Carlos's widow? Honestly, Carlos might have thought that your son stepping in and being there was exactly what he wanted. And finally, you are not Carlos's family. How dare you assume that you know what they are going through and what they think? YTA. He's your son. He's found acceptance and love with someone. Does the history introduce risk? Of course. Is any of that your business? Not even remotely. He's your son, and you should be happy and supportive for them. YTA. After my friend's boyfriend died suddenly, she became close with his cousin who was like a brother to him. My friend and the cousin grieved together and eventually developed a relationship. They were afraid to tell family and friends for fear they'd receive the same reaction as you gave your son. Guess what? Everyone was thrilled for them because they knew how happy that would have made the boyfriend who died. Both families welcomed the relationship with open arms. YTA for being a shitty mom and not expressing the same happiness for your son. YTA. I said that he should have told me. According to your post, he did tell you. Telling you is what he did. He is now more calm and smiles more often and is even open to talk about Carlos without getting too emotional. Sounds like he was on the mend. You don't have to like it. Hopefully, he or the fiancé don't backslide, regress too much from experiencing your reaction. YTA. Carlos is dead. News flash. His living GF and their son are not. Your son stepped up, which put him in a position to get to know her on a more intimate and personal level. They decided they two meshed well. Carlos isn't here and he won't be again. But his partner is ready to move on and they have a bond that comes from losing Carlos. They, two grown adults, are choosing to be together. They both have a deep understanding of Carlos and the loss of losing him. It's possible it's because your son will never be upset when she is sad how Carlos isn't there to see his son grow. Or when Carlos' son is mad at your son because he wishes he knew his dad. And in turn they won't hold it against your son when he misses his best friend and feels sad that Carlos is missing these moments. Or maybe it's less complicated. But yeah, YTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.